It leaves the Premier League standings looking like this. Well, not an awful lot has changed for those two teams. They remain 4th and 10th. They remain 10 points between them. Chelsea have made up a point on Leicester City. Craig, where do we start? Because Chelsea can't win at home.
Well, Arsenal, that league table takes them to 10th with that point. But at one point, they were sitting in 13th. So we're just about to get the big mallet out for them again. But you can't. Well, I don't think. I can't sit here and criticise them for going down to 10 men, for fighting back with 10 men away from home. Can't criticise that. Let's look at it from the other side. Chelsea. They can't get the job done against a team that are struggling, big time, with 2 disasters at centre-half, one of which was sent off. The other one made the mistake, and their best centre-half's not available. And that's not saying much, your best centre-half. They've got a passenger in Ozil in midfield away from home. And the best player's out, Aubameyang. And yet Chelsea still could not get the job done. Still could not get the job done with all those factors in place. Not good enough. Stevie?
Need a centre-forward. They're talking about Edson Cavani. This team absolutely is screaming out for an experienced, been and done it, got the T-shirt centre-forward that can get a goal from nowhere. Because it's OK saying you've made chances. They're half chances. But if you've got a proper centre-forward, half chances become goals.
This was a game in which they scored twice, though. And that but probably should have been enough to win this game.
Well, they scored one's a penalty, and then Azpilicueta scored.
Yeah. So the forwards are not scoring goals. You know.
Was that the reason they didn't win today?
Absolutely.
It was.
Listen, the amount of time they were spent in the edge of Arsenal's box and couldn't break them down, and the reason couldn't break them down is because they don't have that guy who can sniff out a goal from nowhere. And we can talk about Burley, and you can, again, everybody keeps going on, and they were doing it today as well. Oh, Hudson-Odoi looked lively. Well, do you know what? You don't get paid to look lively. You get paid to create or score goals. Yeah. He doesn't do either.
Well, he did put one great, in particular, one brilliant ball in at the end that Batshuayi should have scored.
Should have scored, yeah.
There you go. And if you've got a proper centre-forward, there's your goal.
And that's part of the story right there, that the competition to Tammy Abraham is Michy Batshuayi. So there is no competition, you see? And so, if nothing else, if you bring a guy that is a proven goal scorer, either he plays ahead of Abraham, but at the very least, you're saying to Tammy Abraham, look, you've done great. Yeah. It's been fantastic. But you need to keep it going. It's not just the first half of the season that counts. You have to keep it going. And so people will say, well, but he was there. He was in good places. Well, yes, but those headers, those half chances that Stevie's talking about, those are the ones that you have to put away in order to continue to climb, in order to continue to be that player that he thinks he might have been because of the early starts of the year. I find that Chelsea had chance after chance after chance to put the game away. They didn't. They allow Arsenal to hang around. But to your point, if you're up 2-1, right, and it's 3-4 minutes to go in the game, and you're up a man, how do you allow Hector Bellerin, of all people, to cut the ball inside, and everybody's so very late to step out? You're a man up. So there should be an extra man in order to be able to step to that ball. Tammy Abraham is struggling physically. He couldn't get to it. And Jorginho very much late in order to close that space. You allow a goal that you shouldn't allow, and then you lose 2 points.
Stuart Robson is with us. Robbo, as Frank Lampard ponders these 2 points that undoubtedly got away, is he more unhappy with his attack or his defence, do you think?
I think he'd be more unhappy with the attack because this is a recurring theme. Creating chances, front player missing chances, wide players missing chances. But there's another thing to it. When they get into that top third of the field, they've got to have that calmness, that understanding where the next cross is going to be, the cutbacks. Is it going to be bent in behind the defender? In that last 20, 25 minutes, Arsenal had Shaka playing at centre-half and Mustafi. And they must have got their head or foot on the ball nearly every cross that came into the box. They seemed to be in the right place. But it wasn't, I don't think, because they were in the right place, because the crosses weren't quite good enough. That final pass, that final bit of awareness wasn't quite there. And maybe the front players' movement wasn't good enough as well. Ali will know, in the box, it's just a happy knack of being in the right place at the right time. Too many times the Chelsea players aren't in that place.
Mikel Arteta before the game, Craig, saying beating Chelsea is essential for our top 4 hopes.
Listen. Arsenal not getting the top 4. Away and come back down out the clouds. Look, and it's not his fault, but you can't take much away from this squad, to be honest with you. But what you can take away today, he got a little bit of bottle near, for that last hour of the game plus. Now, would it have been the same if David Luiz had stayed on the field? Maybe it'd have been a bit more open for Chelsea, because we all know what it's like when you go down to 10 men. The interesting thing is, I think young Martinelli had more chances staying on the field than Pepe and Ozil, who came off. And I think that tells a story. But I look at I look at those two centre halves in the graphics, and my eyes just want to pop out my head.
Yeah. Believe it or not, Steve, it was only the second red card of David Luiz's Premier League career.
What is that? What do you want? What do you want? A gold star?
He must have got away. Must have been getting away with murder there.
But
what about Mustafi?
If you're David Luiz, can you avoid that red card?
Yes,
he was
absolutely.
going to score, wasn't he?
Listen, here's the thing. People will say, well, it all happens so quickly and he has to react to Mustafi's mistake.
Yeah.
Well, good defenders understand what's going on. The game slows down for them. He had plenty of time to evaluate the situation and decide that, you know what, I have to try and head him off at the pass, try and get towards the goal to try and stop him rolling the ball in, because there's only half an hour gone.
Yeah.
He has to be able to compute that if he just barrels into the back of him, takes him down, it's a penalty, and he's off. He didn't do any of those things, and that's why he's not a good defender.
It's a hell of a partnership. I mean, we've touched on this last few days. Shkodran Mustafi, if you're going to whinge and cry about criticism, as he did, and I think he brought it up in a newspaper or a magazine, social media and other stuff like that, well, don't go on it if you're a player. Yeah. If you're a player and you're a soft touch and you're soft-skinned and thin-skinned about criticism, don't go on social media. And here's the other deal. Cut the mistakes out. He's a player that makes more mistakes than anybody, and he's got away with it. He's got away with it tonight, or today.
I've got to jump in.
Go on.
Of those two things, there's one that he can't do.
Cut the mistakes out.
Cutting the mistakes out.
I'm sorry. He
can get off. So I don't know.
He can do that. Media. The other one, forget that. Forget that.
Arsenal, for me anyway, Arsenal are not the criticism tonight because we know where they are. Right? We know it's a long road to recovery. Right? And in some sense, going down to 10 gave them that siege mentality. I've seen it. We've all seen it 100 times. And it can be difficult for teams to break them down like it was for Chelsea. That's no excuse. But it can be difficult. But Arsenal are not really... I don't think that... There's not really anything apart from the mistake and some... They are what they are. But for Chelsea, they're giving every other average team a look at the top four.
Well, one bright spark for Arsenal may be Gabriel Martinelli, Ali, the 18-year-old Brazilian.
Yeah, who looks like he belongs. And Craig just alluded to the fact that between Pepe and Ozil, you're getting nothing, but you're getting Martinelli, who, well, takes advantage of the slip by N'Golo Kante, but then there is what you didn't see from Tammy Abraham when there was an opportunity to finish. The guy, after a 60-yard run, stands up in front of the goalkeeper and puts the ball away. And what you see from him is not only the goal, but there's a whole lot of work from him, a lot of running around, a lot of getting himself into areas in which he could try to help a team that was playing a man down, which is not easy to do for an attacking player. It's not what you get paid to do. But in this case, he was efficient, he was effective, one shot on goal, one goal, and what a goal it was, and in a moment in which Arsenal needed it. However, Chelsea still had an opportunity to win the game, and somehow they blew it.
Robert, what can Arsenal take away from it? They take a point, obviously, in rather unlikely fashion, but they still haven't won away at another Big Six team in 5 years. 25 games since they've won away at another Big Six team now.
Well, all they can take away from the game is that they showed bottle. I think Craig mentioned it there. They showed bottle in that last 60 minutes when they went down to 10 men. But I would judge them on that first 26, 28 minutes. They were absolutely woeful for that first 26 minutes. Every knockdown, Chelsea were first to. It didn't look as though they were prepared from the game. The two centre-halves, whether they're good on the ball or not good on the ball, had no options when they tried to get it forward. Arsenal had no idea how to get the ball from the back into the front. And every time I've been to Arsenal this season, the same problems have been there. So Mikel Arteta, that's one of the first things he has to do. How can we get the ball from back to front with a bit of quality so we know what our game plan is? They were trying to play out from the back. They were giving it away. They allowed Chelsea to press them. And when it was 11 versus 11, there was only going to be one winner. And Chelsea played at an intensity that Arsenal couldn't cope with. That would be the big worry for me. Has Mikel Arteta changed anything tactically or got them playing any better apart from showing more bottle and more courage?
Well, to be fair, that is a side to it, but his best signing could be a 6-seater bus. Maybe an 8. Because
drive them all out of there.
But there's a few of them need to just get the bags in and get them out, which is not easy.
But at the very least today, you got work.
Yeah.
At the very least, you got a team that competed. Yeah. And you can't say that about a lot of teams that when they go a man down, they're able to find a way back. So that in itself, I think you say to Arteta, okay, we got the battling and the working hard and the competing. Okay, we got that down. Now let's start playing.
I'm thinking next season. I don't want to see Arsenal at this next. I'm thinking 6 months. Yep. This transfer window, next transfer window. I don't want to be talking about Arsenal, and I'm sure none of us do, in this way next season. And I'm sure Arteta doesn't either. I mean, he knows what needs done.
But the worst thing is they got forced into it.
Tell you what, you're great at shutting that pen.
I'm waving it. Well, we get a lot of questions on Extra Time, talking of managers and Frank Lampard, about why we give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a hard time. Do we?
Well, you should ignore those questions.
Do we give Frank Lampard, by comparison, a pass?
Well, let me tell you one thing, or a few things. No is the answer, and 2, they are above Man United,
right,
in the top 4. They lost their best player to Real Madrid in the summer, late on, and they had a transfer ban. And he's been in the job 6 months. There's not a comparison with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
What was the object?
And he's playing young kids.
What's Chelsea's object? What was Chelsea's object when the season started? If you can, please try and get us near the top 4.
Yeah.
They're sitting in the top 4. So why would we be giving Frank the amount of stick they were giving Ole?
Rob, it was also a big talking point with the British punditry yesterday. Perhaps some favouritism given to Lampard. Do you see it that way?
I think there's a goodwill from the fans, certainly at Chelsea. They're backing in. They enjoy what they're seeing from their team, although they're not finishing chances, but they're enjoying the sort of football they're playing. They enjoy seeing the youngsters come through. They think that Frank Lampard's doing the right things. I think he gets it slightly easier, but overall, he's doing a much better job than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's doing. So that's why Frank Lampard isn't getting the stick that the Manchester United manager is.
Listen, one second. There are people. I don't want to talk about other networks. It's not my job to do that. But Solskjaer has his supporters in England, particularly with people that played with him. It's not that every Tom, Dick, and Harry is taking the sledgehammer to him. They're not. All fans are not battering them, and all the media are not battering them. Now, I do think in terms of the Chelsea supporters, there is a little bit of a fanboy element at the moment with Frank Lampard, but that will soon go away. And at the end of the day, he's above. He is where they expected to be, or probably better. And it's not like Solskjaer's out there on an island getting pasted from everybody.
Regardless of the goodwill or anything, just look at the bare facts. We're sitting here talking about the reason Chelsea are not picking up more points is because they're missing that piece of the puzzle in a world-class centre-forward. When we talk about Man United, we're talking about where are the chances coming from? Who's going to score goals if it's not Rashford? It's a completely different ballgame.
Should they be in the same discussion, those two managers, Alec? Because they are, rightly or wrongly.
First of all, I am shocked. Shocked, I tell you, that the English punditry will be supporting an English manager. I don't know. I didn't see this coming.
I thought you might go there. But
who knows? No, they're not in the same category. They are not. And I will start with the conversation with the level of expectation for each coach, and each manager, and each club coming into that position, and what the expectations are for Manchester United, because it is mighty Manchester United, or at least it was. Now, nowhere near that. And so I don't think this is a conversation that is worth having in terms of the comparison of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what he has done or not done with Manchester United, and what Frank Lampard is still doing, because, as we speak, he's still in a top 4 position.
Well, by the way, I've got bad. I've got some bad news for Man United fans, by the way.
They're playing tomorrow?
No, well, they're playing Burnley, who are struggling, so there's a great opportunity. The share price of that company in the last few weeks has gone up almost 30%. The market capitalisation of that PLC has gone through the roof. And guess what? The Glazers are delighted with that. Ed Woodward is doing his job.
Rubbing their hands with glee. Yeah.
They're making money.
Mark Ogden was all over that share price story.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
That's not how I saw it, but I must.
Sorry, we'll continue the Manchester United talk tomorrow. As Craig said, they are in action against Burley. We'll have reactions to that as part of tomorrow's show. But they got over the line in the end. No, you like those expected goals tally. Not too many times you can say it's an expected goal from the spot for Gabriel Jesus at the moment. Last 10 attempts, he's scored 4 of them. He's missed 3 of 5 in the Premier League, Craig.
Yeah, well, they got away with it in this game. But, you know, bearing in mind, people say now the data is, the managers take all the data in, everything they can get, they sponge it in. That's how they roll. Guardiola can't be sat looking at that going, yeah, 6 missed and oh yeah, he can take it. Oh, okay, Kevin De Bruyne? No, not Kevin De Bruyne. And Riyad Mahrez? No, we'll let Gabriel take it.
There must be a reason, though. There must be a lack of people stepping forward.
No.
Yeah, there has to be. Otherwise, there has to be a critic. Otherwise, you're not.
What about De Bruyne? De Bruyne is one of the best exponents of a dead ball or a football on the planet.
I know, but penalty
Riyad Mahrez
teams
got fouled. He got fouled, right? And there was a moment in which the camera focuses on him, and he's having that conversation with Gabriel Jesus, and he's like, me. And then Gabriel Jesus already grabbed the ball, and he's like, oh, you got it. At that point, you go, no, you don't got it. I got this, because let me tell you, your record speaks for itself.
Well, you're talking about the come
not
up with all
taking
this.
another one.
Guardiola, then. This is Guardiola.
At what point does the manager intervene? Because
Absolutely. Listen,
lose the game.
Aguero's the penalty taker, right?
Right.
So when he's on the field, he takes it.
Yeah.
The manager's job is to say, right, he's on the bench, we get a penalty, you're taking it, or you're taking it, or you're taking it. You don't give it one of them, well, just sort it out amongst yourselves. That's not how it works.
Robbo, it is pretty remarkable, isn't it? It's still Jesus' responsibility right now.
Yeah, and you've seen him take so many bad penalties. Yeah, he's missed some, but they're poor penalties. It's wrong height for the goalkeeper. He can make an easy save. It's not far enough in the corner. The technique's not quite right either. So when you've missed that many penalties, it's up to the manager to come out and say, OK, you're off the penalties. We'll get somebody that can score. And that usually is Mahrez. But as Ali said, there was a moment where Mahrez kept on looking and sort of saying, should it be me? Should it be you? And Gabriel Jesus took the ball.
We're seeing the starting 11 for Manchester City tonight, Robert. What did you make of the return of Laporte at the back?
Well, it's good for Manchester City, and I think that Pep Guardiola said that he played with a back three just to protect Laporte on the left-hand side of that three because he's back. He knew he couldn't play 90 minutes. They took him off fairly late on in the game, but he played well. He had a couple of crunching tackles on him because Sheffield United weren't slow in getting stuck in today. They certainly pressed Manchester City high up the field, but I thought he came through it well. He showed good awareness. He won his headers. He was good on the ball. He played out at the right times. 1 or 2 mistakes he made fairly early on, but overall, he just added that little bit of calmness to their play.
There's a couple of challenges in the game that were borderline in the first half from Sheffield United, shall I say, but that's what you expect when you play Sheffield United. Physical battle. You're going to get a game. It's going to be high intensity because they're going to fight and do all that stuff, the basics. And City had to overcome that. But listen, that's the kind of game you're going to get when you play a Chris Wilder's team.
More Premier League games coming your way on Wednesday and Thursday. Liverpool not in action until Thursday in this midweek round of Premier League games. The Wednesday fixtures seeing... Well, a lot of talk about Chicharito last week. Today, it is finally done. Javier Hernandez is an LA Galaxy player. People are going to say it was because I couldn't make it in Europe, he said. But sometimes in football, there are things that are not in your hands. So the last 2 years, the managers decided on giving confidence to other players rather than me. Jonathan Dos Santos told me the league is very underrated. I really believe you don't go there to retire. Chicharito, at the age of 31, coming to MLS. He's going to be a Galaxy player. Your reactions, Ali?
It's a tremendous pickup for the LA Galaxy, and it's one that they needed. Not only on the field, but certainly off the field. making sure they keep up with LAFC and how dominant LAFC have become in that market, both on the field and off the field. Now, people are going to expect, well, Chicharito's coming in. He's going to score the same amount of goals as Zlatan, if not more. We just heard Sebastián Salazar saying, well, that's the expectation. That's what it should be. Well, what we've seen from Chicharito is that there's been a decline in scoring goals. There's no question that Chicharito Hernandez can score goals. He has done it over the course of his career, but he is a guy that depends on service. He's a guy that is at his best when he's moving inside the 18-yard box. And so that depends on the LA Galaxy putting players around him that can provide that service. If that's the case, Chicharito will score a bunch of goals. But don't expect the same level of player as Zlatan Ibrahimovic, because guess what? Let me tell you something. Zlatan is a superior talent than that of Chicharito Hernandez. There are certain things that Chicharito does very well, but it's two different levels altogether.
Craig, how would you grade his decade in Europe? We just saw the stats.
Listen, I was working week to week there when he was coming through at Manchester United. He came in with a real blaze, scoring some great goals. And then, for various reasons, it faltered a little bit. But he's had a great career. It's been frustrating at times. But it has tailed off a little bit, as Ali said. But he's had... I couldn't criticise his career. He's went over there, he's had a bash, and as he said himself, of late, certain managers have decided to go down a different route. And I think it's because he's just not been playing consistently enough. This is a great get for the market. Oh, massive for them, particularly with the geographics. But the big question mark is plus. Chicharito was a goal scorer who sort of fell off the cliff a little bit. He's tried to come back. He will fill stadiums and sell jerseys. He'll probably score goals. How many? That's the big question.
I was going to ask you, Stevie, as someone who coached in the league for that, do you have any concerns or any doubts at all that he will score in prolific numbers?
Absolutely none, no. I mean, as far as his understanding of the game, he's going to be light years ahead of the defenders around him. Light years. So really it comes down to how LA Galaxy set their team out to get him the ball. Because if you get this guy the ball in the box, he will score goals. You know, and the reason why recently he's not been playing is because that's all he does. You know, you try to throw him in with Zlatan. Zlatan is just completely in a different world, as Craig said, because Zlatan can...
Newcastle getting 2 goals in stoppage time to salvage a 2-2 draw. Southampton, almost the informed team in the Premier League at the moment after Liverpool, aren't they? Another win for them. They're out of the bottom half of the table. As you look at it, it is still Norwich City marooned, but then Watford and Bournemouth now throughout the rest of the top 3. West Ham ahead on goal difference. Manchester United and Burnley in Wednesday action from the Premier League. United 5-12 on. You can get 7-1 on a Burnley win.
This is the time, but you can't just talk about the last game. They were totally outplayed in the first 30-35 minutes. They played a little bit better in the second half. But Manchester United have got problems all over the field. They've got problems within the club. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in and did a good job to start with, but that hasn't been taken forward. Some of the signings they've made haven't been good enough. The patterns of play aren't good enough. I can't see what they're trying to do, trying to get the ball from back to front. There's no real patterns of play. Sometimes they defend well, sometimes they don't. So it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that's got to make sure his team are more consistent. He hasn't got a lot of players at the moment to work with, but he still should be doing better than he's doing.
What do you think ahead of this game against Burnley, Stevie?
I'll tell you what, they're so much on the right track. They're at home to Burnley, and I'm trying to figure out how they're going to score a goal. That's how much on track they are. When I'm actually thinking Burnley, who so far, up until the weekend, when they beat Leicester, they've struggled big time.
Yeah.
And I think they might get something at Man United. So, yeah, you're on the right track.
I mean, that's not a sale, is it? I mean, you know... Wolves were in the game against Liverpool. Sheffield United were in the game against Liverpool. Brighton Hove Albion lost by the odd goal to Liverpool. A lot of teams, not them all, have been in the game against Liverpool. That's not a sale. Sorry.
And what does that mean? Being in the game until the last kick, when it was all about Liverpool missing chances, that was the story of the game. It wasn't that Manchester United hung around. It was that Liverpool continued just kind of allow Manchester United to somehow still be in it. Come on now. Honestly, I understand what he's doing. He's protecting his players. I understand that he's protecting himself and his job. But honestly, come on now.
Well, we will react to that game tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Gab and Jules podcast, latest episode available. Always available on our YouTube channel, Extra Time. That's where your questions get the full treatment. Well, we try and answer them anyway. Don't know what questions were answered today. Chelsea still can't win at home. Arsenal can't win home or away.
At least United are on the right track.
Gabriel Jesus is not taking another penalty. That's a question that has been answered.
We'll go at it again tomorrow. All right, a bountiful haul of questions. Thanks for those on today's Extra Time. We've got our work cut out to get through these. Who would you prefer in your backline, Craig? Mustafi or Otamendi? Asks
Otamendi.
Easy.
Easy answer.
That's not a question. Otamendi.
Who would you prefer?
All day, every day.
The current version of Stevie Nicol or Mustafi? Who would you prefer on your backline?
Well,
Mustafi.
yes.
You'd have to think about it at least.
I mean, given what we've heard from Stevie.
To be fair, Mustafi would look like Maldini next to me today.
Moving on, Paul, is Kepa a waste of money yet? Most expensive keeper of all time, and he can't save a beach ball going into the garbage bin, apparently. Robbo, you're with us. Biggest waste of money?
I'm not sure he's a waste of money at the moment, but he's not played as well as he should have done. He lets go. I think he's got one of the worst save percentages in the Premier League at the moment. He doesn't seem to make the big saves. He's not great on coming for crosses. So, jury's still out on him, but he hasn't really performed as well as he should do.
When you go to buy a shirt, Robbo, do you ask for ones with the big collars? Or do they automatically bring them out to you to try and sort of take a bit of pressure off other areas?
Big collars? No, I'm not quite sure that my shirts have got big collars. Oh, perhaps it has. Yeah, I suppose so.
Is that a big collar or not?
Well, it's nearly touching his belly button.
That's quite restrained.
I've got a very high
today.
I've got a very high belly button though.
Maybe they're cheaper.
More importantly, how big is the beach ball?
Right. Well, it's,
Because if you got the bin and the beach ball won't go in anyway.
No, it won't. Unless it's a really big garbage bin.
Yeah.
So
There's some great things, but
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You didn't get it, did you? It's you're like, right, all right, okay.
Why
Slow on the
surprises?
Why have the producers telling me, go to the next question, go to the next question. So clearly the garbage bin talk wasn't compelling enough. But,
is anything ever on this show? I mean, it's never stopped us before.
Ask Robbo, says JM, how was Harry Maguire on Sunday against Liverpool? Guess you were talking up Maguire, yeah?
Yeah, I love Maguire as a footballer, but he was second-rate compared with Van Dijk at the other end. I talked about Harry Maguire being the best player on the ball, coming out from the back in the Premier League. At the moment, I would have to change that, and Van Dijk's 2 crossfield passes in the first half, and then he hit another one in behind the right-sided centre-half for Manchester United. Van Dijk was better than Maguire. Maguire's still a very good player, but Van Dijk is head and shoulders above him at the moment.
Says the man who says Van Dijk was a waste of money, apparently, when they first brought him.
Ooh, wow. Who said that?
Well, I'm being informed.
No.
Reliably, I'm not sure, but I'm being informed. That's what Robert said.
Wow. Ooh. Stewie.
Wow.
Well, I'm not sure that's
I'm not
quite
surprised.
true. I'm not sure that's quite true,
I'm not
Steve.
either, Stuart. That's why I was a little hesitant in saying that. But now I got the producer laughing in my ear.
I know our producer will dig it out if I have said it, but
Yeah,
I didn't quite. I said a waste of money.
He did say he hates Van Dijk.
Well, that's a whole different conversation.
It's a personal, though.
Yeah.
Could be.
Okay.
Right.
Everything's personal.
Especially when it comes to collars, apparently. Michael, maybe you should answer this, Stevie. Why is Everton so bad? They let another 2-goal lead slip today.
Because the players they have aren't as good as
Other
the
teams.
coaches, the owners, whoever brought them in, and the fans think they are. You know, at the end of the day, they're bringing players in from a different level than what your Liverpools and Cities and Barca's and Reals and everybody else. They're fishing in a different pond, and just because you spend 40 or 50 million on somebody doesn't mean they're particularly brilliant, although it probably should. So Nobody in that team's performing.
They made some big financial losses as well.
Why?
Which they've reported recently. So they've spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they're moving to a new stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've seen what that's done for Arsenal.
Yeah.
And Tottenham. So they're, well, let's go.
Yeah.
They do have to, modernise it anyway.
Let's be honest, right? He was talking about it earlier. The goalkeeper's behind the line, making a save. I mean, as much as he was being sarcastic, it's a good point.
Yeah.
You can't save anything if you stand behind the line, right? And the goalkeeper is supposed to be cool.
It's cutting edge analysis.
The goalie generally...
Maybe it was his momentum, to be fair.
The goalie in general, though, is supposed to be cool and calm. Look at Alisson. I mean, how cool is he and Edison?
Just some clarification, by the way, before we move on. Robbo apparently said they spent too much on Van Dijk, not that he was a waste of money. So...
We didn't have to clarify. We knew that was nonsense anyway. You were getting in your ear.
How's Stevie doing?
I was finished, by the way.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you can carry on, because Charlie wants to know how you're doing after your appearance on TalkSport. How's he doing after his appearance on TalkSport? They were completely out of order. Stevie didn't deserve that. What happened on TalkSport?
I didn't deserve what?
I don't know. I was hoping you'd...
No, a guy called Jason Cundy...
Jason Cundy called you
was saying...
questioned your intelligence.
What happened was...
Can't criticise him for that.
He was saying... About 3 months ago on this show, Dan and I were talking about, would you swap the Champions League for to be invincible? And I said yes. Anyway, somehow they ended up having a conversation about this on TalkSport last night, and somebody remembered that I'd said that I would do it. So people have been calling in, and he was calling them all idiots. You're an idiot. How can you say that? You're an idiot. So they called me and said, do us a favour. Put him right, will you? So I put him right, but he still said, well, listen, I've called everybody else an idiot, I'll call you an idiot.
I've got to say, he's one of the best pundits in England, Jason Cundy. He knows his stuff. Certainly knows his stuff, Jason Cundy.
Robbo, do you know what his argument? His argument was that being invincible doesn't mean that much, because you could go through the whole season, draw every game and get relegated. That was his only argument.
Do you not sit here and then say, though, it's about winning trophies? It's counterproductive to your argument.
What are you winking at him for?
I wasn't winking.
You can't blind. I know with glasses, but you can't blind.
Sorry, I'm over here. I've got a little twitch in my eye. He went on my... No, forget it.
Do we have a next question?
Well,